What up? Hello, welcome back. It is 2026 and I haven't watched any interesting movies until now. I went to go see Gore Verbinski's Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, and I had some thoughts, so I thought I would share them. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hopefully this is the first of many new videos during the year. We'll see. I've got my own plans. I've got my own things that I want to do. So if making videos is something that can be wedged in, fit in, that's what we'll do. If not, oh well, this is a fun social experiment anyway. So thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, all that, jazz. And tune in. Thanks so much. Gore Verbinski's Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die is extremely fun, silly, timely, and meta, and delivers an end that could potentially give the Matrix saga a run for its money. Spoilers ahead for those who care. Our modern day world is consumed with our phones and social media, which Verbinski lays out immediately within Sam Rockwell's Future Man monologue in the diner. Future Man claims that our smartphones are the beginning of the end of humanity. First, it began with a couple minutes a morning, checking our emails, catching up on the Facebook shenanigans of friends and family. A few minutes a day only got longer. Until now, we are all but consumed by the very devices that were just meant to be a form of connection. And this is very in tune with what your modern podcasters are saying. In a world so connected via social media, we are the least sociable generation ever. Ergo, system of control number 1, social media. System of control number 2, virtual reality. Haley Lou Richardson's Ingrid is allergic to phones and Wi-Fi. That's just a plagiarism from the film. That's exactly what she says. And at one point, we're introduced to the fact that when she's around phones and Wi-Fi, she bleeds. She meets a boy who says, "I don't believe in cell phones." And they ride off on a beater motorcycle, and 6 months later, they're living together without much technology around. An anonymous package is sent to said boyfriend, and instead of being concerned that he didn't order this package, and the fact that it just spontaneously shows up, he opens it and puts the headset on. He's in the virtual reality world all day, and he decides to join a program that will fully integrate him into the virtual world. They're like hamster pods where I guess they would feed him and he would just be in the world all day. He leaves Ingrid behind along with all of his worldly possessions. System of control number 3, clones. Juno Temple's Susan loses her son in a school shooting. Long story short, she clones her son through a government program. Creepy. When the clone isn't quite right, she gets help from a stranger who tells her that she can speak to her true son from a hard drive and an earpiece. Her son over the earpiece tells her to follow Future Man from the diner we first are introduced to at the beginning of the film. Essentially, without boring you, Future Man's raincoat is a time-traveling machine that takes him back more than 100 times into the past to meet everyone at the diner to try and put together a crew to stop the imminent collapse of humanity. He has tried over 100 different combinations of people to assemble a crew to take with him on his journey to upload safety protocols to a Singularity AI. This Singularity AI is currently being invented by a 9-year-old. This AI is also hostile to humanity. We see from Future Man's flashbacks of the eventual future that the future of humanity is just being lost inside the virtual reality. The protocols would safeguard humanity's existence. How would they do that? What would the future look like if he uploaded the safety protocols? We just don't know. But the film that we experience is just the latest in his runs to try and get to the AI. This run is also the closest that he ever gets to success. Okay, so why isn't he successful? The AI at the end of the film can rip people out of reality and trick them into seeing what's not actually there, even if there's no headset. Red flag 1 of 100. Ingrid is about to upload the safety protocols when the AI makes her see a conversation between her and it, where through the 9-year-old boy, it is essentially trying to justify its existence. Ingrid snaps out of it, plugs in the protocols, and everything is supposedly saved. Only Is it? Future Man and Ingrid watch the sunrise when all of a sudden Future Man says, something's wrong. You're gonna save the world, kid, just not this one. And then, poof, he vanishes back into the past. Now, it is way too much for me to try and explain all of the little red flags, all of the things that go into the two ending theories that I have. Essentially, what we're faced with is two possibilities. One, Future Man does actually have the ability to go back in time more than 100 times to try and save the future, with every jump creating a branching timeline from the different choices that he makes. Two, the AI is controlling this cyclic run of trying to beat it, with Future Man as its greatest threat. But what you can control is no longer a threat. Okay, so put good luck, have fun, don't die on pause in your brain for a moment. Let's turn to The Matrix. Over the span of 4 movies, we learned that the Matrix is one giant system of control, with multiple sub-operating programs. There's a lot of them, but I'm going to explore 3. Choice, freedom, and love. Giving a false sense of choice within the virtual reality of the Matrix, mixed in with an overall kind of gloomy reality, is what keeps 99% of humanity shackled to it, as said by the architect. However, there are those who are willing to free their own minds. Enter Morpheus and Zion. We learned that the machines use the One as a reset for the Matrix, where when the One returns to the source code, he not only reboots the Matrix, but also chooses 23 people to be freed, 16 female, 7 male, to restart Zion. Here we have the marriage of choice and freedom as 2 systems of control. Zion is only as free as much as that freedom is permitted to not totally collapse the machine's ability to siphon energy from their human crop fields. Their choice to reject the Matrix is an ingrained flaw that allows the other 99% of humanity to choose comfort over truth.
She stumbled upon a solution whereby nearly 99% of all test subjects accepted the program as long as they were given a choice, even if they were only aware of the choice at a near unconscious level.
Enter love as the last form of control I'll explore. In The Matrix Resurrections, Neo and Trinity are reconstructed and reinserted into the Matrix after the event of Revolutions. 50 to 60 years pass until Neo is once again freed. Learning Trinity is still enslaved inside the Matrix, he goes back to get her. Neil Patrick Harris is the analyst, says he designed this Matrix with Neo and Trinity's love in mind, in order to generate more power to and for the Matrix than ever before.
As long as I managed to keep you close, but not too close, I discovered something incredible.
Here's the thing about feelings.
They're so much easier to control than facts. The worse we treat you, the more we manipulate you, the more energy you produce.
By keeping them close enough to each other without them being united, he instigates a star-crossed love story that should theoretically never come to pass. Therefore, Neo and Trinity are slaves to the Matrix for decades. Only this evidently doesn't work. Unfortunately, we're not going to get to see the culmination of this new version of the Matrix come to pass, because Resurrections didn't do that well. Alright, back to good luck, have fun, don't die. I'll admit that this film does not lend itself to theory 1 that I presented, that Sam Rockwell's Future Man can genuinely time travel. There's just too many things that are weird, or that go wrong, or that are just straight up not making sense, that really the film lends itself to my second theory, that the AI has perpetuated a cycle of resistance that can never truly end in victory. It is a Matrix-layered Groundhog Day for our Future Man that won't ever end. Okay, so what? I'll tell you so what. In The Matrix Resurrections, Neo has this depressing thought. It feels like everything I did, everything we did, like none of it mattered. Bugs, played by Jessica Henwick, tells him, no, there was peace, you made that possible. The Matrix films offer hope in the face of insurmountable odds, that human resilience, ingenuity, and a capacity for love will triumph. Not so with good luck, have fun, don't die. In the face of supposed victory, Ingrid comes to the conclusion that she and her crew failed, and we're left to wonder if victory is ever achievable. My conclusion is this: there is no escape. The fall of humanity to its own technology is inevitable, and there's no way out. Well, damn, Emmaus, way to take a movie from fun to depressing real fast. I come to this conclusion because of my beliefs. The world will come to ruin one day. Whether that's through the proliferation of artificial intelligence, the meeting of real-life aliens, quote-unquote, all-out nuclear war, or a combination of all of them, the world will end. Good luck, have fun, don't die seems to me like a quietly loud announcement of one of our ends. Essentially, buckle up. The future is bleak. We've seen it 100 times before. Terminator, Terminator 2, Terminator Salvation, every zombie apocalypse movie. Buckle up. Anyone who's got an ounce of gray matter between their ears can see it, that the world is going to crap. Those whose foundation of belief comes from the true word of God in the Bible know it. At this point, it's just a matter of when. So, here's the so what to the so what I just talked about a minute earlier. In the famous words of Frodo Baggins, I wish none of this had happened. I could say, boom, end of story, world's gone to crap, there's nothing you can do. Wrong.
So do all who live to see such times, but that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us.
All we have to do is decide what to do with the time that is given us. What good luck, have fun, don't die drove me towards was initially a sense of despair. However, I am reminded that there is one who is more powerful than artificial intelligence. If my end is to be enslaved to a virtual reality while his green earth deteriorates and crumbles, I still know my destination. If the end is to come swiftly through AI, I know that what I can do is focus on my own. Pay attention and love and respect to my family, to my friends, protect my own as best I can. Because also in the famous words of Gandalf the Grey, I found it is the small things, everyday deeds of ordinary folk that keep the darkness at bay, simple acts of kindness and love, a striving towards someone greater than we are. If you should have any questions about my faith, about my hope in a God in Jesus Christ that has set me free for relationship with him, please let me know. This movie may have driven me towards despair, but what it should do is encourage us towards what can I do to rightly steward that which has been given to me. And that comes from a biblical foundation that, unfortunately, is not very common in such a bleak and dismal world. Cheers, everyone. I'll see you in the next one.